Are the heterosexuals okay? I ask because I've been watching these turkey commercials and I'm starting to get a little worried about them. For one thing, these straight couples seem to hate each other. And maybe that's nothing new.
You're gonna do the mambo! You're gonna do the mambo, but it's gonna be in the moon!
But these commercials that I've been watching seem to be part of a trend where people are obsessed about serving dry birds.
It's her first turkey.
It won't be juicy.
And that's part of a larger trend of commercials that are trying to convince heterosexuals that they have problems that I don't think actually exist.
Wonderful anniversary, dear, and thank you for the flowers.
You're welcome, darling. But if you could do one thing for me.
What?
Try to do something about your coffee.
I hoped it would be better today.
Now these ads are a little problematic, but seen from today, they're also diabolically manipulative and transparent and hilarious. So I want to show you some of my favorites and ask if ads do the same thing when they're advertising to the gays. So are the straights okay? Probably not. But are the gays any better? Let's find out. Now, I first noticed these commercials when I was watching the movie Serial Mom, because I thought one of the neighbors was played by Edie McClurg. Turns out, nope, it's a different actress named Mary Jo Catlett, but you are gonna recognize her. And when you see these ads I'm gonna show you, you'll wonder why John Waters didn't cast her in more stuff. And by the way, I've got links in the description to full versions of all the ads I'm gonna show you, and a link to my Patreon if you're enjoying these videos and want to support me making more. So the first commercial we're gonna look at is part of a series for Butterball turkeys, where these pilgrim ghosts appear in modern 1970s kitchens and are obsessed with juiciness.
The spirits of the first turkey lovers.
Dost thou smell turkey?
Oh, 'tis beautiful.
Look how juicy!
Thou never served so juicy a bird.
Thou never brought home a butterball.
Listen to how accusatory they are at the end, blaming each other for the dry turkeys. This is going to be a theme through all these ads. A couple using turkeys or other products you need to buy to judge each other's inadequacies.
Remember, Harry, it's Marion's first holiday turkey, not a word if it's dry.
There's even a few where kids get in on the judginess.
I'm worried about you, Mom. These are cold cuts. Butterball's a turkey.
And then there's this one kid who's reacting to turkey like he's never seen one before, or maybe he's Winona Ryder accepting an award. Anyway, the spirits of the first turkey lovers would come back year after year after year at Thanksgiving, and then later to pressure families into doing Christmas turkeys.
She planneth her Christmas feast.
She listed ham.
I do like how she says ham.
Ham.
They also tried to make summer turkey a thing.
A turkey in summertime.
A hearth with legs.
Smells great. What's cooking?
Ta-da!
Turkey!
But the one constant across all of these ads is the message that when you get married, you have a duty to serve good turkey. The most transparent commercial shows a whole family gossiping about a wife's bird's juiciness.
Juicy turkey, Marion.
I knew it would be.
And here's the thing, making turkeys juicy was never really a problem until Butterball started telling people it was. There's a whole Adam Ragusa video, and I've got a link in the description, about how all you need to do is just make good gravy and your turkey will be fine. These Butterball ads from the 70s are just trying to manipulate people's anxieties about being a good husband or a good wife, and they're so unsubtle, it's absurd. It's this bonkers universe full of juice and judgment.
Thy turkey was often dry.
Thou never bagged a butterball.
Now, Mary Jo Catlett was more than just a turkey-loving pilgrim. She was also in a bunch of other hilariously transparent ads, like this one for United Airlines, where she's making a neighbor jealous.
Merry Christmas. What'd the old boy give you?
I got this robe.
Oh, beautiful.
What did you get? What's that?
Hawaii! That's what that is. Nice little package, huh? Well, Bill gave Gladys Hawaii!
The whole island?
Look at that slogan at the end, give your wife Hawaii. Could these be any more obvious? They're making wives feel jealous, they're making husbands feel inadequate. At least Mary Jo Catlett's having a good time.
Imagine Bill and I riding down the waves of Waikiki, sipping champagne and luau's. Luau's, Ralph!
But Mary Jo's at her happiest in these ads for Black Flag roach traps. In those, her husband's played by Fred the Baker.
You're not crazy. Black Flag's better.
And this is one of those rare series of commercials where the couple gets along great. There's no insecurities, they just love killing roaches together. And I gotta say, these ads are kind of working on me. I want what they have. But happy heterosexual couples are usually the exception rather than the rule. There's so many that play on heterosexual insecurities, like these ads for Folgers, part of a long run trying to convince wives that they needed to worry about their coffee.
I still say don't serve your awful coffee with my steaks.
Honey, your coffee just doesn't taste any good.
Well, honey, happiness is a vacation. Away from your coffee.
Folgers coffee is mountain grown.
Mountain grown?
Mountain grown for richer flavor.
You know, it's a crime not to have delicious coffee like this all the time.
We will, now that I've discovered the mountains. Ooh.
In all of these ads, there's a neighbor named Mrs. Olson who knows the secret to good coffee because she's carrying around these giant cans of Folgers. They're either in her purse. There's one ad where she seems to pull it out of a box of puppies. Now these ads could have just said, hey, our coffee tastes pretty good, but instead they're trying to convince women their coffee's like a threat to their marriage. For whatever reason, in the 1960s, coffee commercials tried to convince couples that good coffee is the sign of a healthy relationship. There's even an ad with Lauren Bacall, one of the greatest actresses in Hollywood history.
When you have a husband like mine, you have to make a lot of coffee.
Drink it all the time.
Take it from me, girls. The way to a man's heart is good coffee.
Well, it's a good start.
That take it from me girls in there, it's so transparent. They're telling wives, you've got to please your husband with good coffee instead of, I don't know, if he's that fussy, maybe he can make his own. Also, just quick side note, as long as we're talking about Betty Bacall, I have to show you some highlights from her later High Point coffee commercials.
Rushing for an 8 o'clock curtain every night means giving up a lot of things, but coffee isn't one of them.
Writing is a coffee lover's dream. You see, High Point has a special way of capturing flavor.
Look at this carafe in her limousine. How much coffee does this woman need? And a side note on that side note, my very favorite Lauren Bacall movie is this burger commercial.
When I have a taste for a burger, that's what I order. If it's not on the menu, I glare at the waiter and say, improvise. Then I purr.
Please do not do this. Just imagine the poor waiter at a Red Lobster who has to go back into the kitchen and be like, Lauren Bacall's here, we've got to improvise a hamburger. But of all the bonkers transparent ads for the straights, my favorite is this one for La Choy noodles, which features a surprising cameo.
Behold the sad bride who can't cook.
I can't even boil water.
Behold the dragon who lurketh in the pantry.
Lurk.
Hey, it's a lurking dragon.
The La Choy dragon, lady, with La Choy chow mein.
That is an early Jim Henson puppet. It was actually the blueprint for when they built Big Bird. So anyway, the dragon saves the marriage, or at least saves the husband's opinion of his wife. Again, straights are in constant relationship danger unless they buy the right products. So are there any happy couples in these ads? Well, yes, there's a few. My favorite are Maureen and Raymond in these ads for, forgive me, constipation.
You sure loved Cherry yesterday.
I did? When?
When you were constipated.
What?
I gave him this new Cherry Phillips Milk of Magnesia. It's a whole new experience.
Maureen, put that away.
What I love about these ads is the gentle teasing that they have with each other. It's a really lived-in relationship. They were in commercials together for years, and they've got more chemistry than most sitcom couples.
When Raymond gets,
what?
you know, constipated.
What?
I give him Phillips Milk of Magnesia.
Put that away.
Honestly, I would love to see a sitcom about Raymond and Maureen. It'd be called Put That Away, and it would be just the one beacon of heterosexual happiness in a sea of insecurities.
I think we should throw a party.
I know what you serve.
So what are we learning from these ads? That so much advertising is designed to make couples worry that they can't measure up to some unattainable ideal. And I have to confess, I don't know what heterosexual couples are really like, but I'm pretty sure that in real life, nobody says juicy 7 times in 30 seconds, nobody carries around this much coffee. These commercials are so obvious and clumsy and unrealistic, but they must work because for decades, ads would force this message on straight couples. So now my question is, do commercials use a comparable approach when advertising to the gays? That's a tough question to answer, in part because there are no vintage ads for us from the 60s and 70s, but I did find a few early examples from the 1990s. The first one I found was for Guinness beer. This was one that was made but never aired. The company even denied its existence for years. It continues the housewife dynamic from previous decades. It shows one husband cleaning up after another. It's playing the song Stand By Your Man, and it actually ends on a fairly tender moment. I have mixed feelings about this one. On one hand, it's not preying on anxieties or insecurities. There's no, you're gonna be a bad gay husband unless you drink Guinness beer. But is this a good depiction of gay couples? I think that's kind of up to interpretation. There's a slogan at the end that you might interpret to mean their love doesn't make any sense. Or you might interpret it to mean that if men live together, they'll slip into traditional gender roles. Or you might interpret it to mean that men can live together and they'll just be very sweet with each other. I don't know. What is the message of this ad? I can't quite decide. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and maybe we can figure it out together. Next, there's this VW ad from the 90s that just shows 2 guys driving around. Now they could be friends, they could be partners. When this ad aired, and I'm old enough to remember when it was on TV, there was a lot of speculation that they might be gay. Something about it seemed just homoerotic enough at the time. Either way, they're depicted as equals, there's no insecurities, there's no anxieties, they're friends, maybe lovers. My favorite early gay ad, though, is this one from IKEA that shows a gay couple getting furniture. Now, this is dangerous. Anyone who's gone to IKEA as a couple knows that it is a relationship crucible. You may not escape intact.
We've been together about 3 years.
I met Steve at my sister's wedding.
This table included a leaf.
A leaf means
commitment.
Staying together, commitment. We've got another leaf waiting when we really start getting along.
These guys are great. There's no insecurity, no judging, no inadequacy. There's no, you're not good enough unless you buy an IKEA table. They just get along as equals. They're nice. I like these guys. Now, when it comes to ads for lesbians, that I don't actually know, aside from there being a lot of pressure to get a Subaru. Do ads for lesbians have the same anxieties and inadequacies as those old vintage ads that we just looked at? I'm just not sure. So lesbians, let me know in the comments. And hey, thanks for watching. Thanks to my Patreon backers who make these videos possible, and thanks to everybody who sent me suggestions for commercials to feature in this video. And by the way, if you want to hang out and talk about this stuff some more, join me on Twitch. I live stream games and babbling about queer stuff every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 2 to 6 p.m. Pacific. That's at twitch.tv/MattBaum. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to talk to my husband about his feet.
My feet are so sweaty and smelly. My wife calls me swamp foot. Wow, no more swamp foot. It sure dried up that smelly swamp.